For the first time, the Federal Reserve made its latest decision on interest rates without one key piece of information that's currently not available because of our ongoing government shutdown. Karen Caifa explains what today's announcement means for your wallet.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell describing the Fed's move as risk management. The Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. And while they had government inflation data to inform that move, they were working without the latest government employment data.
The Federal Reserve making its latest decision on interest rates without the full picture of how the U.S. economy is faring.
There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals. Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach in promoting both sides of our dual mandate.
The ongoing federal government shutdown has suspended most of the economic data the Fed relies on. That includes the Labor Department's jobs report for September, which should have released October 3rd.
It's not to say that we don't know what's happening with the U.S. economy right now, but we would have a much better idea and a higher degree of confidence if the federal government were operating and releasing the data that we're accustomed to getting.
The Fed can lean on employment data from the private sector as well as its regional banks. And while government inflation data for September did release last Friday, Bankrate's Mark Hamrick says the labor market is really in the Fed's focus.
Inflation is rising at an annual rate of 3%. That's still a long way away from the Fed's 2% target. But the Fed is primarily concerned now about a job market which has essentially frozen.
Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, says the central bank will likely take upcoming rate cuts with caution.
What it's doing right now is actually just taking its foot off that brake and moving us back to neutral. We'll coast for a little while until we can figure out what the next step needs to be.
Meaning, economists say, consumer relief on mortgages, auto loans, and credit card debt will come slowly, too.
Powell said that a December rate cut is far from a foregone conclusion, and the Fed will have a number of factors to consider in the coming weeks, including the potential impact of the extended government shutdown that could be a drag on the economy, especially consumer spending. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said on Wednesday that they estimate the shutdown could cost the U.S. economy about $14 billion. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.